Training. Today we are doing our first trick video, which is going to be Sit Pretty. Thank you very much. Penny Rose is demonstrating that. So before we begin, let's just talk about supplies we're going to need. I use a clicker to mark the moment in time the dog does the right thing. If you're not familiar with a clicker or how to use it, check out our video on loading the clicker. I'm using high value treats, so we're using freeze-dried beef lung. You can see Penny really likes working for it. And because we're doing Sit Pretty on a tiled floor and she's putting a lot of weight on those hips, I have a mat underneath her to support her. Just as an aside, you don't want to teach a dog that's under a year age to do this skill because they are putting pressure on those joints. It's one thing if you have a bowl of food and your puppy's doing this because your puppy will stop doing it when it becomes uncomfortable. But for Sit Pretty, technically Penny Rose should not release herself until I tell her she's done. So let's not do this trick with anybody that's less than a year old. For your longer back dogs, your German Shepherds, your Boxers, your Labradoodles, there's actually going to be a middle step we're going to show you to help support that long back as we train. So now that we've gone through all of that, let's actually go through the steps. So to train this skill, we're going to use something called successive approximation, which means I'm going to mark each small step on the way to getting the final skill. The final skill is this, but asking a dog to do that right away would be like me asking you to do a 2-minute plank. You're not going to like it, it's going to frustrate you, and you're not going to want to work out with me again. And the same thing will happen with your dog. So we're going to reward baby steps. So the first step, I'm going to put the treat to the dog's nose. I'm going to rock them back, and as soon as both of those front feet come off the ground, even for a split second, I'm going to click in reward. So here we go. Right there, and I'm going to feed her and immediately pull away, let her put her feet back on the ground. Okay, so we're going to do it again, kind of zoomed in so you can really see the behavior. Treat to nose, I'm rocking back towards the butt. As soon as those front legs come up, I click and I reward. I pull my hand away, letting her body hit the ground again. Here it is from another angle, just treat to nose, rocking back. As soon as those front feet come, I click. Notice she just did a quick hop. I'm still marking their feet off the ground. So I'm going to continue with this successive approximation until I get the behavior that I really am looking for. In this case, nice, straight, tall. Now see, she jumped up. I just won't click for that. I'll click and let go. So I'm looking for that nice Sit Pretty, that's much better. When I can get that easily, and just as an aside, you really only want to do this 5 to 7 times at any given moment. It is a lot of work for their core muscles. It would be like asking you to do a wall squat over and over and over and over again. So 5 or 7 reps, then give them a break. So now that I've done my, she's had her break, and she's easily following my lure, I want to move her to a hand signal. So I'm going to do the exact same thing I was doing, but this time there's nothing in my hand. There's no lure. Just rocking her up, click. That clicker buys me that time to reach for the food and reinforce. So once we are able to easily hand signal the behavior, then we're ready to add a verbal cue. Anytime we're adding a verbal cue, we want to give the verbal cue, then the hand signal. So I'm going to say Sit Pretty, hand signal, click, and then grab the treat. Get back, please. Penny, make sure let's stay square on this mat. So again, I'm going to introduce the new cue, Sit Pretty, hand signal, click, and treat. Once the dog is 90% successful with doing that behavior, then you can try just the verbal to see if it works. Penny Rose, Sit Pretty. That's fantastic, good job. Some people keep it to just a hand signal. With my deaf dog Buzzy, obviously all of her cues are hand signal. As your dog gets more proficient with the skill, not yet. As your dog gets more proficient with the skill, stay, you can add some distance. Penny Rose, Sit Pretty. So that's about a step, and it's totally okay for her to come off the mat at this point because when I clicked, it did release her from the position and from the mat. All right, in our next video, we're actually going to pull out a dog that has no training with the Sit Pretty, so you can see what it looks like with a green dog. So we'll be back in a second. So this is Zippy. Zippy is new to the Procyon family. He's a pretty green dog. So we're going to just show you a little bit of how to train Sit Pretty with him. It may look a little bit close closer to what you're going to be experiencing. All right. So again, I want to make sure he's up on this mat comfortably. Good boy! Going down because you're a good boy. Good boys. Good boys, try again. Good boy. Good job. Good job. That was a really good one. We're going to stop there because we always want to do quality over quantity. Good boys, Zeb. Come on, let's go. Just as an aside, you don't just have to do sit pretties with dogs. You can also do sit pretties with cats. Good job being mom. Awesome. Don't be jealous. You got your sit pretty.